Hey everyone, and welcome. We're about to dive into a really big topic, constitutions. Ever wonder why every country has one and what they actually do? Well, that's what we're here to break down. This explainer comes to you from A1 Institute, and our goal is to get you totally prepped for your exams.
Yeah, our whole mission here is to make these core ideas super clear. By the time we're done, you're going to have a rock-solid understanding of this stuff. It's really the foundation of how societies work. All right, you ready? Let's get into it. So, here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with the big problem that societies need to solve, then we'll walk through the four main jobs or functions of a constitution, and finally, we'll see how all that ties together to create a nation's identity. Simple, right? Let's go.
First up, a society's core problem, or the need for rules. Let's start right at the beginning. Why in the world do we even need a constitution in the first place? It really all comes down to one single core problem every society has to deal with. And that problem is this: how can all sorts of different people live together without everything falling apart? I mean, just think about it for a second. A society isn't just one big happy family where everyone thinks the same way. It's a huge, messy, diverse mix of individuals. And this diversity is the real challenge, right? You've got people with different religions, different jobs, different skills. You have the rich and the poor, the old and the young, even different tastes in music and food. With all those differences, you know disputes are going to pop up. But here's the catch: we're all dependent on each other. So we desperately need some kind of common ground, a framework to handle all this. And that framework, that's the Constitution. You can think of it like the ultimate rulebook for a country. Or maybe even better, it's like the operating system on your computer. It lays down the fundamental principles, the basic rules that everyone can agree to so we can all live and work together. Okay, so how does it actually do that? Well, this brings us to its very first, and you could say most basic function, basic coordination. So the first job of a constitution is to give us a set of basic rules. These rules allow for what's called minimal coordination. The key thing to get here is that these aren't just polite suggestions. They are the absolute ground rules that stop a society from spiraling into chaos. It's all about creating a little bit of security and predictability for everyone. But, it's not enough for these rules to just exist on some dusty piece of paper. For them to work, they have to be public. Everyone's got to know what they are. They have to be legally enforceable, meaning there are real consequences if you break them. And this is the most important part. Doing this gives all of us the assurance, the confidence, that other people are going to follow the rules too. That's where trust comes from. All right, so we have rules. That makes sense. But who makes them? That's the next logical question, isn't it? And that brings us right to function number 2, specifying power. Yeah, who gets to decide what the laws are going to be? This is one of the most fundamental questions any political system has to answer. And no surprise, the Constitution is what gives us the answer. It's the document that spells out exactly who has the power to make decisions. It literally decides how the government is going to be set up or constituted. See? It's right there in the name. It's the blueprint for the whole structure of government, and this can look really different depending on the country. Take a look. In a monarchy, the Constitution might say, hey, this one person, the king or queen, decides everything. But in a democracy, the Constitution says something totally different. It says power belongs to the people, and they get to decide who makes the laws. Okay, so we figured out who has the power. But what's to stop them from going wild with it? Becoming a tyrant? Well, that leads us straight to the third crucial function of a constitution: limiting government. And this is so important. The Constitution's third job is to set some limits on what a government can do to its own citizens. It basically acts like a safeguard. It draws a clear line in the sand that the government is not allowed to cross, making sure its laws aren't unfair or oppressive. So how does it do that? Well, the main tool is something called fundamental rights. The Constitution spells these out. These are rights that every single citizen has just by being a citizen, things like freedom of speech or protection from being arrested for no reason. And they're called fundamental because the government can never take them away. They can never trespass on those rights. Now, you might be thinking that constitutions are all about telling the government what it can't do, but that's not the whole story. Modern constitutions also have a really positive job to do, and that's our fourth function, enabling aspirations. So besides just stopping bad things from happening, a constitution can actually empower the government to do good things.
Its fourth function is to give the government the ability to fulfill the hopes and dreams, the aspirations of a society, and to create the conditions for a really just society.
What does that look like in the real world? Well, a constitution can empower the government to take positive steps to fix problems like inequality or poverty. For instance, if a society has the aspiration to end discrimination or make sure everyone has a basic standard of living, the Constitution can give the government the power and the duty to pass laws to make that happen. It turns a society's big goals into real government action. So, when you put all four of these functions together, you get to something really big, something profound. A constitution does way more than just organize a country. It actually defines it. It really expresses the fundamental identity of a people, both politically and morally. Think about it. By coming together and agreeing on a set of basic rules, by choosing how they want to be governed, and by laying out what they hope to achieve together, a group of people creates a collective identity. The Constitution becomes this powerful statement of who they are and what they believe in as a nation.
All right, exam recap time. Let's nail these four functions down. Ready? 1. Coordination. It gives us the basic rules. 2. Specification. It decides who gets the power. 3. Limitation. It puts limits on that power with fundamental rights. And 4. Aspiration. It enables the government to build a just society. Got it? Coordination, specification, limitation, aspiration. You've got this.
So, that was a core overview of the why behind a constitution. But of course, there's a lot more to it, especially the how. So you're definitely going to want to stay tuned to A1 Institute for the next parts of this chapter. Hey, if this was helpful for you, do us a huge favor and hit that like button, share it with a friend, and leave a comment. And for sure, subscribe to the A1 Institute YouTube channel so you don't miss what's coming next. And listen, if you're looking for admissions, notes, or any kind of guidance, please get in touch with A1 Institute. All the contact info, including our phone number, is right down there in the description. Thanks so much for watching.